Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 56. In today's episode, we will be talking about the NFL, AFC, NFC Conference Championship games. Talk about the crazy divisional round weekend, maybe the best of all time in my lifetime, I'll probably see. And then maybe a little UFC talk, Eric, our reactions to the fight, what's next for some of these fighters. But as always, before we jump into the episode, it is brought to you by our sponsor, Hot Streak Fantasy, the best in-play fantasy app on the market. Pick 2-3 players in the NBA, the NFL. Watch your favorite teams make you some money. Hot Streak is matching your initial deposit as a bonus when you use promo code Hot Sauce. So get Hot Streak Fantasy app now. Every week we'll say it. A quick, easy way for gambling, sports gambling on an app. Bets coming live every few minutes. So make sure to jump on that if you are willing to lose or maybe win some money this weekend with the games coming up. But before we jump into the episode, roll it. Welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 56, NFL Conference Championship games weekend, Eric. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the crazy week in the divisional round that we had. Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Titans, 49ers, Rodgers. I mean, crazy stuff went down last weekend, Eric. Just your reaction. Is this the best football you've ever seen in your life?
Oh, by far the best. Like, just everything. It was literally what was it like? It either went to like last kick or like literally like last second. This is what playoff football is all about. This is why we love this sport. This is why we love sports. That's why we talk about sports. It's these close games in the playoffs. Everything's on the line. Every like milliliter matters. Like every inch, like everything matters. You gotta be on. This is why I love football.
Listen, it was. The Bengals won it with a kick. The 49ers won it with a kick. Bucks and Rams won it with a kick as well, Matt Gray. And then Chiefs and Bills
won it in overtime.
Craziest game that we will probably see in my lifetimes. I mean, Eric, just let's talk about one stat here for that Bills-Bengals game. 4 go-ahead changes in the last 2 minutes, 25 points scored as well in the last 2 minutes. That right there is all you need to say about that game. 4 go-ahead score changes in the last 2 minutes. That is insane. Man, what a weekend. But let's jump in to some of these conference championship games. We'll also talk about the divisional games while we discuss that. But there's only 2 games, 2 matchups left, 4 teams left. The final the Final Four. What did they say in March Madness? The Elite? No, it's not the Elite 8. That's the Elite 8.
Final Four.
We're at the Final Four. Let's start in the NFC area before we get into the goal here of the AFC. 49ers versus the Rams. Eric, 49ers coming off a huge upset win versus the Packers, 13-10. Aaron Rodgers, a lot of question marks about that. We can discuss that as well. Rams, they come off a huge win versus Tom Brady and the defending Super Bowl champs. They win 30-27, like we said, game-winning field goal. Eric, this was some crazy matchups, man. The 49ers, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we were here last week discussing how the 49ers, they got a flimsy win against who they play before the Packers again.
Oh,
in the
Dallas.
wild card. Dallas, yeah, sorry. yes. Dallas, I talked about what I thought about Dallas and how they could choke, and I wasn't surprised about that for sure. But now this Packers game, Eric, in Lambeau Stadium, it's snowing. Jimmy G plays in San Fran in the sun. He doesn't have to deal with snow. None of those players do. But they come into Lambeau, Eric, and they put on a defensive show for the fans at Lambeau Stadium and for 49ers fans. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had the worst QBR rating of the season, his worst game of the season. Kept looking for Devontae Adams. He got targeted like 20 something times, I believe. Just had his worst game, missed some open passes to Allen Lazard. He was running across field. That was that big play, the third and long play, and he tried to go Devontae Adams. Well, 49ers, Jimmy G, Eric, they scored 6 offensive points. 6 offensive points. I mean, that's what all they can muster, Jimmy G, and that offense. However, they got blocked punt attempt for a touchdown, and then a blocked field goal. And so that's how they win. They take away the extra points. What do you know, Eric? Special teams wins you games. Who would ever heard of that? But yeah, insane. Now, what the question now for Aaron Rodgers? I mean, before you get Aaron Rodgers, give credit to Jimmy G, I guess. Jimmy G, I wasn't praising a lot last week. Even in this game, he didn't really do much. But he showed up clutch in the last 2 minutes, got them in field goal range, and Robbie Gould was able to kick the game-winning field goal. But Aaron Rodgers now, Eric. Aaron Rodgers undecided about his future in Green Bay. A lot of question marks. He says he doesn't want to really be a part of the rebuild, which is odd because they don't really have that many contracts up. They have Robert Tonyan, a few other players, but not really anything, crazy to start a rebuild. I mean, Devontae Adams too. Yeah, he says he doesn't want to be a part of it, and he might look elsewhere. But here's where it gets tough for me to understand. He says he doesn't want to be a part of the Green Bay Packers. So where is he going to go? Well, he's late in his age, late in his career now. He's looking to get to another Super Bowl with a dominant team. But Eric, if that's the case, it's the NFC, right? He's got to go through the NFC to get to the Super Bowl. There's no chance Aaron Rodgers is going to go sign or get whatever to an AFC team. Because if you look at the AFC, you got the Bills, you got the Bengals, no doubt now trying to top dogs up there. I mean, you still have the Titans, you got the Chiefs, you got the Chargers next year, who I expect, man, to bounce back, hopefully. Got some tough teams in the Colts, Browns, Ravens, Eric. They had bad seasons this year. Who knows if they can come back next year? Maybe situation in Cleveland, they figure it out. Obviously, we know the Baltimore Ravens are always going to be competitive. Lamar Jackson. So yeah, it kind of made even New England, Eric, they could be a good team next year. Who knows about the Dolphins? It's just a lot of question mark. I don't see why Aaron Rodgers would want to go through the AFC and compete against, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. Why would he want to put himself through that? So then I start looking at the NFC. And so I'm looking and I'm like, well, the NFC East, not going to sign there, right? Dallas, Philly, he's not going to want to go to any of those teams. Dallas already has their quarterback. NFC North, you got the Packers. Vikings, he's not going to go to. Bears, Lions, he's not going to go to a divisional opponent. I don't see why that he would do that. And then the NFC South, you got the Buccaneers, who questions with Tom Brady. I don't know. I don't expect Tom Brady to retire. We'll get more on that when we talk about him. The Saints, Eric, are a possibility I saw.
But Sean Payton just left.
Exactly. Sean Payton just stepped down. And they got their quarterback in man, I'm so bad in remembering names.
Jameis Winston.
Thank you, Jameis Winston. Yes, he was also a former Buck in States. And then you got the Falcons, who can move on from. Oh my God, I'm gonna forget all the names, Eric. Something's wrong with my memory today.
What? Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I know. Matt Ryan. Carolina's got Sam Darnold. I know that. So if they move on from Matt Ryan, I don't see why Aaron Rodgers would want to go to the Falcons either way, because they're also in a rebuilding situation, right? And then you go NFC West, you got the Rams, you got Matthew Stafford, Cardinals, they got Kyler Murray, 49ers, Jimmy G. I could see him go there. And then the Seahawks got Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so the
right
only
now,
team,
49ers and the Saints. That's it. So Eric, this talk about, I don't know about my future. He could stick with the Green. I think for me, his best case scenario is sticking with the Green Bay Packers. And they try, even with the free agents that they have, the Green Bay Packers are still going to be lethal with Aaron Rodgers at the helm. I just don't understand where he expects to go right now. If he wants to compete through the AFC, there's a bunch of other teams. You can go to Denver maybe if he wants. The Raiders, I don't think are going to move on from Carr and pick up Aaron Rodgers. I don't know really. So like the Broncos and the Colts. But even then, Eric, you're just competing with the AFC juggernauts. I don't understand. So I don't know where Aaron Rodgers is going to go. I don't know what he's going to talk. He was saying the same stuff last year. So who knows what he's talking about? Maybe he's heated. Maybe he's embarrassed to come back and try and run it back in case he loses another playoff game. But man, he has to come back to show redemption to himself, to the fans of Green Bay, avenge that playoff loss. I mean, they go out Super Bowl favorites, not dark horse, Eric. I was talking about Green Bay and how if their defense impressed me, I might have taken them for the Super Bowl. Obviously, their defense tried their best, but it was the offense, surprisingly, Aaron Rodgers and the offense that couldn't get it done. Worst game of their seasons. And we know how Green Bay relies heavily on offense, and that kind of just skipped our thought. What if Aaron Rodgers has a bad game? Well, that's what happens. So it's going to be interesting these next few weeks to see where he plans on going, what, his discussions or whatever and stuff like that. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. I love him. But you have to admit he had a bad game, and you can put a lot of that loss on him. And I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more with that statement about Aaron Rodgers. He needs to shoulder some of that blame for sure.
Oh, for sure. Because as you said, even when you were talking, the two teams that popped in my head were the Saints and 49ers. Nice. I thought Saints, maybe not. Sean Payton left. There's no reason to go there. But without Sean Payton, the Saints are nothing, right?
That's it. Michael Thomas, who knows what he wants, if he's going to stick around the Saints too.
Exactly.
Maybe he's going to want to. I'm not sure. Maybe they head into a rebuild. You're right. So I don't know.
And then you have the 49ers hey, they're going to go far, but why would you want Aaron Rodgers? You just beat him, and then you still have Trey Lance as your
Exactly.
There's no reason to get Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers right now, Green Bay is probably the best situation he can be in. But obviously it's tough, right? Because he doesn't really like the team. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's kind of tough, right?
Especially with Jordan. It's a bit sour, the relationship right now.
Exactly. But it's tough. Like you can. He did all this talking, right? He went on all the podcasts and everything, and
yes, the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, and then after he comes out and doesn't perform, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna talk about this later, but like you have Ngannou over there, he was talking like and everything, and like he wanted to show something, and then he performed. You know, it's a little different here with Aaron Rodgers, where he was trying to show that like he's an elite quarterback, but hey, you got to do in the playoffs, you know. So
and also Aaron Rodgers is 0-4 against San Fran in the playoffs. They own him. Yeah. They own Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. I mean, at this point, 1-3, sure, whatever. Aaron Rodgers beat the 49ers. He moves on to the conference championship games. That stat doesn't get looked at so much. Yeah. Now he's 0-4 against the San Fran 49ers, Eric. I don't know. I just feel like he's going to want to run it back because I don't know where else he expects to find success in the league right now, because I wouldn't go to the AFC if I was. I'd stay away as far as possible from the AFC if I were him. But they're out now. The 49ers, Eric, they got to go into Los Angeles now, play the Rams and Matthew Stafford. And now, Stafford had a huge game against the Bucs, Eric. Yeah. He performed like the quarterback he was traded to be, right? Yep. That's the quarterback that the Rams pretty much dealt a lot of their future for, right? A few first-round picks in that trade. Yeah. And so that's the guy they needed him to be. 0 turnovers so far. And right now, for the Rams, it's looking real good. I'm going to take them to win this game for sure. He has no turnovers, Eric. He's poised as right now in the playoffs. You got Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey. Your offensive line with Andrew Whitworth. You got Odell, Cooper Kupp, Cam Akers is having a great playoff so far. Both the O-line and D-line showed up against the Bucs. That's a huge sign that could be a huge impacts into the next game. But that's it. The money line right now for this game, Eric, is under 3.5 favorites for the Rams, over under 46. Also, can we talk about the fact that Cooper Kupp was that open versus the Bucs?
Yeah.
What is that about?
Especially
this guy's going to be in top 5 in MVP voting. And you just throw like it was backyard ball or something. Like, yeah. That's all Matthew Stafford had to do.
Yeah.
Okay, Cooper Kupp, yeah. Just straight down the field. Like, what was that coverage? I mean, I don't know what the play was. I forget what happened, if they blitz or were showing blitz or anything. But man, there was some safety cross up there. You saw the linebacker dive in, and then safety. He was just a step behind. I don't know how you let a play like that happen, but man, that cost the Bucs their playoff hopes. I mean, they were on their heels, the Rams, on their heels, Eric. They had no answers for the Bucs, but at least they were able to win the game. But man, yeah, for sure. Like I talked about last week, the D-line would have to show up, and that's what they did. Aaron Donald, Von Miller was huge. We knew Whitworth. We knew the right tackle for the Bucs was going to be injured.
Tristan
Wirfs. And what did they do instead? Okay, well, we're going to go after a left tackle, Donovan Smith. He got bullied that game by Von Miller and Aaron Donald, so that was a tough showing for him. But man, right now the Rams are looking real good. You got Cooper Kupp, Cam Akers in the back, and your defense is playing well, your offense is playing well, and you're going against this Jimmy G 49ers team, Eric, that is miracle on the field right now at this point.
Yeah.
The defense is showing up. The 49ers. Jimmy G, I guess, he's doing his job, I guess, when he's asked to do, but he's not really being an impactful player. Deebo Samuel, obviously, as we know. So for them to win, Eric, the 49ers, like I said, Jimmy G, try and get the ball out of his hands, give it to Debo or someone else, George Kittle, or you just give it to Debo, man. He can just run wildcat quarterback. I'll still say it. But anyway, their defense, man, their linebacker core with Fred Warner. Can we talk about a game that Fred Warner had against the Green Bay Packers? I mean, he was a monster that game, Eric. Nobody had an answer for him. He was huge. Nick Bosa was huge. I mean, that defensive pass rush is going to be huge for them to beat the Rams. You need to force Matthew Stafford to throw turnovers or commit turnovers like he's been doing when they face each other. These teams have faced each other already in the season, Eric, and Matthew Stafford has turnovers in those games, okay? Because the 49ers defense there's just crazy amount of pressure for it, and that's what he does. He throws into double coverage, or he'll fumble the ball if he gets tackled. We've seen it before when these two teams have faced. So they're going to have to do the same thing. Fred Warner is going to have to be, that speedy linebacker core is going to have to be dangerous. Jimmy G, like I said, going to have to get the ball out of his hands. Kyle Shanahan has beaten Sean McVay 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's I don't know. I mean, playoffs are a different game, but man, I mean, that's crazy. It's going to come down to the defense for the 49ers. But if the defense takes a step back, I don't expect them to be, because they are monsters right now, and they know that for them to win this game, they're going to have to show up. So I expect them to show up and be ready. But yeah, I just don't think this offense will be able to compete with the Rams offense. I know the offense is good, big, blockers. Debo Samuel runs the ball down your throat. That's what they love to do, run the ball upfield. And then, maybe other play calls where Jimmy G has to throw the ball to George Kittle specifically. But that's what they're going to have to do. That rush, Debo Samuel's going to have a big rushing game. But, man, I just don't expect – I've said this last week. Might bite me in the ass again. But I don't know how the 49ers are going to be able to compete with the Rams. Packers had a bad game. Aaron Rodgers had a bad game. Even if there's still the defense for the Rams that could help them out, bail them out. That's why I have more confidence than the Packers. Man, I took them to beat the Bucs. I had a lot of confidence in this Ram team early on the season. I said they're a dark horse to win the Super Bowl. Now they want to win from reaching that spot. So I'm gonna stick with the Rams. I'm gonna take the Rams to cover outright because they're gonna win this game under 3.5, and I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna say over 46 points, Eric. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Okay, good. Okay, great analysis. Yeah.
Also, I was going to mention this last week. Every time you say great analysis, I chuckle. It's like it's like I got your approval, or like it's like
no. Well, it's like
great analysis. Great analysis.
No, it's whatever you say. I'm going to add on to it type of thing. What I'm just supposed to talk and like it's just to be
it's like one of these days you're gonna be like. One of these days you're not going to say, I'm going to be like, what the fuck? Where's my
bad analysis?
Where's my great analysis?
Okay,
I chuckle every time you say it. Okay, but proceed with your own analysis.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, last week we both said the Rams were going to win. I even said, I don't know if we can probably won't clip it, but I was like, okay, we'll put the Chtib Zhang show name on the line.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Rams are winning Brady. This. We both bet it against. Hey, this is rare, man. This doesn't happen often, and they were underdogs too. But it was just something about the Rams, the way they were playing, and obviously they didn't end the season too well. But it was just something about this team, like the additions on defense, like, and everything. It was everything. It was like the games they had against the Cardinals. It was like they were rolling, and especially last week, what they showed against the Bucs. I know they almost blew that lead, but the fact that you can almost blow a lead and then just be like, okay, let's focus, and then in the clutch win that game and just focus in. Matthew Stafford, he played like, obviously he doesn't get to the playoffs often, but he played like he knows what to do in the playoffs. He's a clutch guy. Cooper Kupp was breaking ankles there, and like, okay, it's like
I just don't get that last play.
The last play, yeah. But the play before that, like he's hard to cover, man. Like that guy's he's hard to cover. So it's like we can say like, oh, why didn't you cover him? But like it's hard.
I know it's hard. But, like we're gonna talk about
NFL players.
Chiefs and Bills and what happened there, but man, he's top 5 in MVP voting there. As a wide receiver. Like you should know how dangerous this guy is on the field. And the fact that he's behind you, that's like a huge defensive problem. That is they screwed up horribly on that play.
Yeah,
that cost them the game. You can't let a guy get behind you down the field. And Matthew Stafford's like playing backyard ball catch with his son or something. Did you see? This is Matthew Stafford and Chuck. He just threw. All he had to do was throw a mediocre pass down the middle of the field. He was wide open. Obviously, he didn't catch the ball. How does that happen? I watched the game and I was like, how? If I'm a Bucs fan, how am I not pulling my hair out? Like How do you let that happen? I don't get it, but man, they're gonna be looking at that play, the
Oh yeah.
coaching staff, and tearing their hat. Like, how the hell did we let that happen?
Like
But
literally when
man,
Matthew Stafford took a step back,
yeah,
throws it. Like the ball was in the air for like a good like
yeah,
5 seconds. It was like, oh my God, wait, what? And then
so
you see Cooper
nonchalant.
Cup. See, oh, I was like, oh, no, that was amazing though. But just shows like, hey, this team is good. And it's so weird because it's like you like they still had like what a 40, 50 yards just to get in field goal range or
Yeah,
something. And just given that much space, it's like, whoa, okay, okay.
that's what I'm saying. He
But
ran down the field, got tackled at the
yeah.
15-yard line, and boom, Matt Gray. Like every day, he's gonna
But
knock
yeah,
that down.
so one of the reasons I'm not gonna lie, I don't have as much like I'm not gonna put the Chtib Zhang show name on the line for this Rams game, but I do have the Rams winning this game. But the only thing is the 49ers, it seems like they figured out Sean McVay, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
this is not the same team. Obviously, they beat them twice this year, but the four other ones like Jared Goff, whatever, you know. So for this game, it's more about it's like the last game they played of the season, it was basically a playoff game for the San Fran, right?
yeah.
Because like they had to win that game. So the fact that they won in overtime, they showed their defense. They got turnover. They made the Rams get turnovers. Like they played a really good game, and that's why it's kind of scary for me to say like, oh, I think the Rams are going to win because San Fran with Kyle Shanahan, the way they've been going, like the Cinderella story that's happening right now. They barely made the playoff. They were one overtime away from the playoffs, like probably one coin flip away from the playoffs, you know? So it's like the fact that they made it this far.
Yep. There's
and,
magic happening in San Fran. That's what.
For sure. And Kyle Shanahan, even the team from 2 years ago that made the Super Bowl, that offensively they're decent, but it wasn't even that much better than
the defense is looking like itself from 2 years ago.
Exactly. That obviously they lost like Richard Sherman, but like doesn't matter. You know, like it's basically the same defensive team, and like I don't know that their defense is so good, man.
Yeah,
and
it's playing like they did when they made the Super Bowl. So that's what the big component is. Just the offense was a little bit better. Jimmy G looked a bit better. Obviously, we know he's injured. He's got the injured throwing hand, but Jimmy G's like, I don't know what happened to him. You know, he was the heir to Tom Brady. Who knows what it would have been under Belichick? I don't know, but he's not playing the best right now.
But it's like,
is that his potential? Like his next year, is he out next year? And Trey Lance is quarterback. Like, I don't mind that. Like, if I'm a 49ers fan, I wouldn't want Jimmy G to be my starting quarterback for the next year.
Because we know he's a system QB. He always will be a system QB. Like he will never be like
you need to build offensive schemes that will, let him be successful. Because he's not the guy like the Stafford or the Mo. He's not that guy. So
so the thing is, with Kyle Shanahan in place and the system he has and the defense, you could still win a Super Bowl. Like they almost showed it 2 years ago. They should have won that Super Bowl too.
Yep.
So this team, they could realistically win this game. And it's probably, I'd say 55-45 in favor of Rams, but they could win this game. Love what Deebo Samuel is doing. Like the addition of like his rise this year has completely changed the path for the 49ers, completely changed.
And he's going to make big money.
Oh, for sure. And George Kittle's been playing good, but obviously not like the elite level, but he's still playing really good. But no, it's this defense. But I'm rambling a bit right now, but I have the Rams winning this game. I have this game going over, and I have them. I say cover.
Rams to cover outright. Win, basically.
Rams.
Now here's the thing about covering. Rams under 3.5 favorites. So that means the 49ers cover if they lose by less than 3.5, which is like, it's a tough bet in my opinion. Under 3.5 points. It's like a field goal basically, but
it's been happening.
It has been. It's been happening. Yeah. That's a tough bet for me for the 49ers. Like if they were to lose this game, Eric, I think it's going to be by like a touchdown, or 6-7 points, something like that. It's just it could be close. It could be a bet if you're willing to put that money down. Makes if you're willing to lose money because you would get a profit, obviously. I would maybe bet on the 49ers to cover if you're willing to spend that extra money because it is a possibility with that defense, keeping them in close, keeping them in the game. It's just their offense for me. 6 offensive points. That's all they can muster against the Packers. Packers are not as good defensively as the Rams. And so that's why I'm a bit hesitant that they're going to be able to be close but their defense is going to keep it close. That's what I'm saying. But I'm taking Rams as well, just because the defense I like and their offense I like way more. And even if Matthew Stafford and the offense have a slow game, I still think Well, I mean, the defense being consistent, but right now the way it's playing, it will keep
Mhm.
them in the game.
But it would be so much better for the NFL too if the Rams won too, because we've seen what the 49ers can win the Super Bowl, but we've seen that already, like but the defense and whatever. But like
Yeah,
the
Sean
Rams in the Super
McVay,
Bowl,
Super Bowl. They
like
had their chance. Remember, they had their
yeah,
chance. They lost
but
that Super Bowl too.
but this would be so much more exciting. I feel like if the Rams make the Super Bowl, especially now with Matthew Stafford and instead of Jared Goff,
Yeah,
it's because like let's say if it's 49ers Kansas again, it probably will be a good game, but it won't be the same as
as
I
Rams,
oh,
Kansas. I see what you
yeah,
mean.
exactly. I'm not saying Bengals. We'll talk about that right now, but
Yeah, how the
I
fuck?
don't know.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh yeah, my bad, my
Cool. You just say shit.
bad.
I didn't even realize. I'm like, why is he talking Chiefs? You see, there's torment in my mind. All right. Anyway, talking about Bengals and Chiefs, Eric. Cincinnati pull off a huge road win versus the first seed Tennessee Titans, 19-16. Eric, FYI, you took the Titans. I
I
took the
did.
Bengals because I'm always going to take the Bengals. That's not your fault. I'm always going to take
No.
them. They could have lost, but
Mhm.
Bengals coming off huge air raid. Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow. Have you seen that animated picture yet of Joe Burrow with the glasses, icing his
Yes,
veins?
yes,
It is
yes.
fire. It is cold. It is badass. Joe Burrow, Eric, got sacked 9 times. 9 times to a gross defensive line of the Tennessee Titans, maybe the best defensive line in the playoffs, but not there anymore. Anyway, Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times and still ended up winning the game. That is a playoff record for Joe Burrow. Congratulations, Eric. So they come off a huge win. Evan McPherson, their kid's a nail gun. I mean, he is going to get laid in the Cincinnati area. Let me tell you. 52 yards kick. I mean, that guy is just nail. All season's been a nail gun. Only kicker drafted in last year's draft, FYI, and he hit that dead center, no problem. I had no doubt in my mind because that's what he's been doing all season. Went 4 for 4 that game. By the way, all his jerseys are sold out right now in the Bengals shop, so you can't get any. But they come off a huge win. Defense was good, Eric. They were able to stop Derrick Henry. His longest run, I believe, was 9 yards. So that's definitely something to look forward to coming into this next game. But yeah, obviously, we got lucky. I will say Ryan Tannehill did play had a horrible game, threw interceptions, had turnovers, and since he did their job, they capitalized off those turnovers or committed those turnovers. They acted on it, got the ball, and they were able to sneak out with the win here. But this is going to be a little different now coming into Kansas City. Chiefs are under 7 favorites. They're also minus 333. So if you bet $10, you'll make 13. Bengals are plus 260 underdog. So if you bet 10, you will make $36. So that's a sneaky bet there. They Chiefs, Eric, they come off a huge win versus the Bills, 42-36. Like we said, 25 points scored in the last 2 minutes, 4 go ahead score changes. Man, the defense for the Chiefs disappointing. Secondary gave up so many, missed coverages, couldn't tackle. They're just average, and that's why the score got ramped up so high. They're gonna have to switch that around against the Bengals. Obviously, all they have to do is sit in zone. Obviously, the zone coverage is giving the Bengals a lot of trouble. That's what the Titans did last game. And we saw how their offense, they couldn't get the run game going. They couldn't be, they weren't successful in the red zone, in their own red zone, even, and in the opposing red zone. They couldn't capitalize on that. So that's what I'm saying about the Chiefs. Just sit in zone, and all they got to do is not have such a terrible offensive or defensive showcase. I mean, all you got to do
Mhm.
is not give up blown coverages because that's what they're going to try and do. The Bengals run Jamar Chase down the field, T. Higgins. So there's going to be some weapons that they're going to have to cover, and if you don't, they're gonna capitalize on that like they did in
Mhm.
Week 17. So Week 17, like we mentioned, Cincy rallied from a 34-31 comeback. They were down in the second half. Chiefs only mustered 3 points in the second half because that went to blown coverages. So the offense wasn't able to stick onto the field. Patrick Mahomes, his 4 seasons as a starter, Eric, has 4 AFC championship appearances already. 4 for 4. So, batting 1,000. And for the Bengals to win, Eric, they've struggled in the red zone. We know that. So they're going to have to figure that out with Joe Mixon. The red zone is a very important part where you need to run the ball, where you need to establish a run game because you know how narrow the field gets, and it gets a
Yeah.
little hard to pass to your receiver. So establish, like I said it every week, they need to establish a run game. The Bengals are so successful when they can have Joe Mixon run the ball, and then that leaves play option, pass option with the receiver. So that's why they need to establish a Renzo. And I even wrote down the O line here, Eric. I don't think I need to mention it because they're probably gonna, they're probably going to give up on Joe, but not give up on Joe Burrow, but disappoint me. I mean, yeah, the O line's going to have a good game, have to have a good game, but I'm not even going to mention it because they most likely won't because the O line's terrible. They gave up 9 sacks. But yeah, pray to Joe Burrow. That's what I also said. Pray to Joe Burrow, like I do every Friday night. Up until now, it will be Saturday night because the game's Sunday. I have prayed to Joe Burrow. My God, not the God, Joe Burrow God. I pray to Joe Burrow, pray for him to have a great game because that's what they're going to have to do. Joe Burrow is going to have to be upright in the pocket, slinging that ball, release, get the ball out of his hands quickly because that pass rush of the Kansas City Chiefs, man, it can maul that O-line. So you're going to have to get the ball out fast. And defense secondary coverage. Some of their cornerbacks, they had good games against the Titans, but then also let AJ Brown just walk down the field whenever Ryan Tannehill saw him. So you're gonna have to watch that with Tyreek Hill, man. I don't want Tyreek Hill to be as open as AJ Brown was playing for the Titans last week because he was open, got some 50-yard passes, and that will torch us if Tyreek Hill is able to do that. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, might be injured, Eric. He's in concussion protocol that way. So there's a chance there for that secondary. That Chiefs secondary was weak against the Bills. And now without their best secondary their best secondary player in Tyrann Mathieu, that secondary is just going to be as vulnerable as it was last week, even more. So that's where you got to look for the Jamar Chase, the T. Higgins, maybe even Tyler Boyd on those slant hitch posts. Or on the slant routes. So there's going to be a lot to look for. But yeah, Joe Burrow is going to have an insane game because we know Mahomes is going to show up, do his thing. But Bengals, get Joe Mixon running the ball. I need to see some running yards. If they can't establish a run game, it could be over early for the Bengals. They need to get Joe Mixon involved in this game. That's the biggest thing for me.
Okay. Great analysis once again, Chtib. Yeah. I was gonna not say it. I was like, okay, you got my head.
I'm gonna mention it.
Okay.
I would have said you didn't give me great analysis.
Okay, but for this game, like you said, it's really gonna come down to it's not gonna come down because the Bengals O-line hasn't shown anything all year. Like it's not like all of a sudden they're just gonna be insane, right? No. So, it's definitely gonna come down to that. And don't forget, Kansas is a really good defensive rush, like they're good at that stuff. And Josh Allen he had to scramble a lot, but Josh Allen's I don't know if Joe Burrow has the ability to be able to scramble how Josh Allen did,
it's tough because Josh Allen doesn't have the O-line since he has. He can scramble. Joe Burrow can scramble. It's just that there's been too many rushes where guys have gone on the inside and he can't go anywhere.
Okay, fair. But exactly. So that is definitely gonna be very interesting. But the fact that the Honey Badger isn't there is going to be huge for you guys because, hey,
hopefully we don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know yet. But look, hey, if Davis can get 201 yards and 4 TDs, what do you think Jamar Chase can do without the secondary, without Honey Badger? So I don't know, man. It's definitely going to be a really close game. I know I had Titans last week, but it wasn't it wasn't like an off. It was like Titans could have easily won that game. Easily won that.
Worse, yeah, but I don't know about easily, man. Ryan Tannehill, you can't say easily. He's your quarterback. Who else are you need to have him on the field? And they need to throw the ball, and he didn't throw the ball great.
Like their turnovers, had some really bad turnovers. They could have easily won off a field goal, right? Yeah. So, just from that and like Ryan Tannehill, terrible, man. And even Derrick Henry, he really didn't do what I thought he.
But I gotta give credit to DJ Reader. DJ Reader, Eric, he's coming in for the injured Ogunjobi, who's out for the season. He had 7 sacks this season, by the way. He had a great season. He's out. DJ Reader, Eric, had a huge game against Derrick Henry. So you got to give a lot of credit to him and that defensive pass rush for sure.
Okay. But for this game, I can't. I know I'm gonna go against the Bengals, but for a reason, right? Okay, so this is how I see it. I know you guys won the last matchup you guys had against them, but hey, Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs is completely different breed. Even in that game, I was like, because I told you at the beginning of the show, like I think Josh Allen's a better QB than Patrick Mahomes. To be honest, I think talent wise, like he's better than Patrick Mahomes.
That's a hot take. That is a
No,
hot take. Talent wise, have you seen the no look passes, man? Who does that? That's all talent.
I don't know, man. Did you see Josh Allen? Like Josh Allen showed a lot. I thought he did enough to win that game. Like I can't say the deep because I think it was just both teams' offense were too good. I think that's what happened. It was just offensively, both teams were just too stacked. They had too many weapons. But hey, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce just ate them apart, man. Like Travis Kelce, like in overtime, right when Kansas won the coin toss, it was like, okay, it's probably a game right here. You know, it's like whoever won that coin toss was most likely gonna win that game, right? So it was like there's really no doubt. It was like, yeah, they're going down the field, they're gonna get a touchdown. They got Travis Kelce, and you got Tyreek Hill. You give Tyreek Hill a bit too much space, yo, this guy is gone, man.
Yeah.
And so that's what made that last game very interesting. But for this game, I think Patrick Mahomes is gonna be too much for Bengals. I know you said, as you said, the whole season Bengals, their defense has been really good, but I think Patrick Mahomes is gonna be too much. And I don't know. It's the O line too for Cincinnati. I don't know if the different. Will you guys be able to score? Because you guys are gonna have to score like at least 25-30 to win this game. You know what I mean?
I mean, I could trust the offense. It just depends how, because they couldn't get it going versus the Titans. Joe Mixon couldn't get it going. So there's a case to be made that the same thing could happen. But I would argue that Tennessee's defensive line is much better than Kansas City's defensive line. But yeah, like Joe Mixon has to be able to run, 5 yards. He's got to average that 5 yards per run or something like that, because if he can't run the ball, and we know how bad the defensive secondary has been for the Chiefs, but it just makes it harder to just say, I'm throwing the ball now. So they gotta be able to run Joe Mixon, give him the ball. They got to give him 18, 20 carries, something like that. And torch the secondary. You got to take advantage of their weaknesses.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No, but I can definitely see Joe Burrow doing what Patrick Mahomes did, like, step back and then throw it to like Jamar Chase down the field. It's like the only thing that makes me, it's the fact that, like, I'm not saying Davis is not a good wide receiver. Like, obviously, no one knows who Davis is. Like no one, like, this guy gets 4. You know what I mean? Like, imagine what Jamar Chase. That's what I'm saying.
That's a good point you're making, because Davis got 4 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs was being looked at the whole game, right? They weren't going to let him get anything. And that's the difference between a lot of these teams and Cincinnati. Is Cincinnati has 5 guys there. Not many teams have 5 guys they can throw the ball to and spread it around, right? I mean,
exactly.
Maybe you can make an argument for the Chiefs because a lot of people look at Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and then you have McCole Hartman who's getting points. Pringle is getting touchdowns, 50 yards. So you can make a case for that too. But they have 5 legit guys. Say, I mentioned them, the tight end CJ who's on. Running back Joe Mixon, wide receivers Tyler Boyd. You can throw the ball to any 5 of them. That's why it's going to make it hard for the defensive coverage secondary to pick up all those guys. You got T Higgins, who's 6'4", an elite wide receiver who's being underlooked right now in the playoffs. Let me tell you. And then Jamar Chase, who's one of the best playmakers already in the game. So that's why. And then you got CJ Uzomah, who can give you a first down on a third down, right? A third and long. CJ can give you a first down. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't have that luxury, a lot of teams like the Bengals do. And it's a different look for the Kansas City. They're going to have to look at that. They haven't faced that at all. Bills, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, you got to watch it. But after that, who's their offensive weapons? Devin Singletary got shut down. It was just a passing. And then Gabriel Davis got 4 touchdowns. Like, yeah, sure. You got a stray Gabriel Davis. He's a good wide receiver, but 4 touchdowns is insane. Nobody looked at him or anything, or broken coverages and stuff like that. And so that's why the Bengals, 5 guys, they can get the offense rolling, but they got to get Joe Mixon running too. And then we can have ourselves a game. And then it comes down, can the Cincinnati defense stop Mahomes and all those firepower weapons? It's gonna be, especially the secondary in Cincy, they're gonna have a big game, because I know Mahomes is gonna be launching that ball down the field. And these two teams have played in week 17, like we said. And if you watch that game, Kansas City had a lot of blown coverages. They had a lot of missed tackles, like that Jamar Chase catch there. Nobody was able to tackle him. So I don't expect that to happen this game, where they have so many blown coverages and stuff like that. I expect their secondary to at least be a little tighter, but it can still be torched. It can still be it can be used against them as a weakness. It's vulnerable without Tyrann Mathieu. So
Mhm.
that's where I need the Bengals to hit hard is these 30 yard plays, these 15-yard passes with Tyler Boyd slant. Like you got to utilize that. You got to exploit that.
Yeah. No, but the thing with football too is sometimes it just kind of comes down to we've seen it over and over, especially last divisional round. It you need a bit of not luck, but you need things to go in your favor, right? Like one mistake can change the entire game. Like one block, one interception, like one turnover. We don't know what can happen, and it's literally it's like who's going to be the more focused. You cannot you literally cannot slack off for like 2 seconds. You have to be on your toes. Penalties too, like all that makes a difference. So if Bengals want to win this game and they have a good chance of winning this game to make it to the Super Bowl, they have to just be focused. I don't know, but I don't know what your coach's name is. I forget what's his name again.
Zach Taylor.
He's got to tell that O-line to figure it the fuck out because
there's nothing to tell the O-line. You ever see that?
No.
What's that TikTok I saw? I was like, it was I forget the lines for the movie, but anyway, it was like it was a TikTok and it was talking about like Jamar Joe, like it was a scene from like Step Brothers or something. Anyway, like it was like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are like, we're some guy going over, TikToks with the audio like replacement, and it's like, yeah, guys, we did great out there and stuff like that. And it's like Jamar Chase, and like we rely at like you guys do your job and we do our job, and it's like the defense, Joe Burrow and Jamar, and then the O-line's like, yeah, guys, like we could do it, and they're like, if you want to talk, I'll shove my hand up your ass as a Muppet to talk, okay? Because that's how bad the O-line's been.
Yeah,
it's been off. I'll see if I can find that TikTok, but it was hilarious. I found that TikTok hilarious. But yeah, like it's gonna be a shootout, hopefully. I just want the Bengals to make this competitive. Joe Burrow will make it competitive because Joe Burrow's up there right now. It's just the defense, like you said, has been great, but it's also been not so great at times for the even with against the Titans. At times, I was like, "What the hell is the secondary doing?" AJ Brown's getting these passes. Like, how are we letting that happen? He's the most dangerous guy, and Julio too had some good catches. So that's where we gotta capitalize and just capitalize down the field. I'm telling you, man, take advantage of that secondary. But I'm taking the Bengals to cover and win outright. Obviously, I'm gonna go with them. I am going to take the under. I took the under last week, Bills and Chiefs, so that didn't turn out too well in my favor. But I'm gonna go with the under 54.5. Obviously, I don't think it's be as explosive as Chiefs and Bills was. So I'm gonna take the under, and I'm gonna take Bengals to cover that game.
Okay. No, I have the Chiefs winning this game. Sorry, but I have the Chiefs winning, and I have it going over. I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game. And what makes me feel good about the Chiefs, not the Chiefs, the Bengals actually making this game very. Well, I'm telling you, Joe Burrow is a winner, man. This guy has shown at every level that he can win games. At LSU, he was able to beat Trevor Lawrence in the final. Like he's got that swagger to him. He's just got that it factor, like in the clutch.
Shiesty, man, Joe Burrow.
Literally. So it's like when he has, you just have confidence in like he'll be able to do the right play, and he's been doing that all season. So let's see if he can do it in the AFC Championship game.
I mean, it's going to be a big entertaining game, man. And I just hope the Bengals, if they can sneak one out here to go to the Super Bowl, Eric, that would be insane if the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be able to believe it. But let's move on, Eric. Those are the two games. We got our bets as well. Rams cover. Bengals to cover. I'm over 46, under 54.5. You're with the Rams to cover, Bengals as well to cover, Rams to win outright, Chiefs to win outright. Over 46 in the Rams 49ers, over 54.5 in the Bengals Chiefs games. Now, Eric, let's move on to UFC 270.
Yes,
a fight. What a main card. A lot of entertaining fights, a lot of questionable fights. We'll get to a lot of disappointments, I guess, in my eyes. But yeah, UFC 270 and gone, Eric. Figueiredo, Moreno. All these other fights, but let's focus on those two fights. Figueiredo, Moreno. Figueiredo comes out. He's the new flyweight champ, Eric. He gets the win. A lot of people going back and forth. Maybe Moreno should have won that fight. He got knocked down 3 times. One of them came in the 5th round, Eric. You think the decision was right for him? I think so. Figueiredo. or not? You think Moreno should have
No,
won?
it's
Thinks he
tough
should have won
because
Moreno. Obviously, the
okay,
loser would think he should win.
yeah, no, but it's definitely it wasn't. I'm not gonna lie, Moreno could have easily won that fight, but Figueroa could have. I definitely give it a bit in favor of Figueroa just because of the knockdowns and
Oh, little internet
down.
connection
If you lose a
problems.
point, it's like it's very subjective, right? So
Yeah.
if you get a knockdown, it doesn't automatically mean that you win the round. So
Sorry, I was just doing your frozen. You're frozen right now.
oh,
I was just doing your face when you were frozen. It's funny. But Eric, you're freezing a little, so let me let
you hear
me
me?
yeah, we can hear you. But you there?
Just pause the recording. Okay.
And we're back. Sorry, as we know, Eric's internet
Yes.
comes from McDonald's Wi-Fi. They actually steal it. They don't pay for their own Wi-Fi, so
Fair.
we have to be a little sympathetic and understand.
Fair.
But Eric, Figueroa, Moreno. Let's skip to it. Fourth fight, or should there be another opponent?
Okay. I'll be honest. I don't know if where you guys heard to what I was saying,
Yeah.
but I think there should be a fourth fight because this fight was so close, man. I'm telling you. Like I don't know if I answered your question properly. I don't know where it could.
No,
sorry.
whatever. Should there be a fourth fight?
I think there should be a fourth fight just on the fact that this fight was so close and that the first fight, a draw, right?
Yeah.
Second fight, Brandon Moreno wins by submission, obvious win. And then Figueroa gets a belt back by winning a very close fight. Very close, but he won just a bit, right? So as I was saying before, with the knockdowns is very subjective because Moreno outstruck him out like in terms of fighting, he beat him. But obviously, if you get a knockdown, that means you did a bit more damage, right? If you get 3 knockdowns in 3 different rounds too, you could easily win 3 rounds just like that, So how I was looking, if you don't look at the knockdowns as like an automatic loss, I had Moreno winning like 4 rounds, just on the fact that like he outstruck him those rounds. But if you look at the knockdown as if you get a knockdown, like that's my Figueroa won that round because he knocked him down 3 times in 3 different rounds, especially in the 5th round too. So the fact that this fight was so close, it was a very entertaining fight too. There's a lot of action. It wasn't just it wasn't just fists. There's grappling too. There's a lot of movement, wrestling, and it was exciting. It was an exciting fight to watch. And realistically, people would love to watch this fight again. Like maybe not a 4th time, but like people would love. Like it's the flyweight, right? There's not that much action going on. But to answer your question, I do believe they should fight a 4th time. I don't know if they should wait on the Askarov Kara-France fight because that's
what
whoever wins that.
Yeah,
whoever wins that fight gets the next. I believe that fight is in March. So in March we'll know if there's a winner. So Askarov actually drew against Moreno, so that shows that. And then Moreno actually beat Kara-France by decision.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be very close because Askarov's a very good fighter. Moreno said himself, but he's a little boring, right?
Yeah.
He's not as exciting. But Kara-France, we've seen him against Cody. He's very exciting, very explosive, right? So that would be a very exciting fight. That's a good stylistic fight.
That's what I had said should get the next fight.
Yeah. So Kara-France can easily get the fight, but whoever wins that fight realistically should get the fight. But there's no fight that would bring as much because Moreno right now is a pretty big name. He's been really good for the sport, especially in Mexico, as I said last week, in Mexico, and even for this flyweight division. This division was going to die. Like a couple of years ago, before Henry Cejudo came, this division was going to die. So that's why I think they should have this 4th fight. They're talking about maybe having it in Mexico. That would be huge for the UFC. Obviously, Moreno would sell that out easily. And hey, Figueroa wants because basically right now they have it at draw, and Figueroa has the belt, but Moreno has one decisive win over him. So that's where it's like, hey, it's not done. We don't know who's better between you two, but they could leave fight 10 times and it'd probably be 5-5, So
yeah, that's I think the only 4th fight I'd want to see is McGregor Poirier fight. I don't know. I thought if Kai Kara-France beats Askarov, I think Figueroa and him should get the next fight. I don't think it should be Moreno, but I'm just like 3-4 fight. Like I don't think I want to see them fight again. But Ngannou gone, Eric. Ngannou retains his heavyweight belt. versus Cyril Gane in decision. I mean, crazy that it went to decision, Eric. And he came out with the win as well. Who would have freaking bet on that or predicted that? You probably would have made a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah.
good for you. But I want to look at the scorecards here because this is where I am confusion. Because
Okay.
Ron McCarthy, 48-47, 49-46, Sal D'Amato, 49-46. How the heck do you have Francis Ngannou winning 4 rounds
Okay.
versus
Okay.
Cyril Gane? Derek
I'm-
Cleary, 48-47. So both of these other guys had Ngannou winning the last 3. They had
Okay.
Cyril winning the first 2, which I thought. But before you start to jump into
Yeah.
it, like the scoring system in the UFC is flawed, Eric. It is flawed. You
Mhm.
even talk about the takedowns. I think
Yeah.
the takedowns is a good way of scoring. Obviously, if you take someone they fall to the ground, right? Their posture,
Mhm.
they're not able to retain or stand up and they fall. Yeah, that's getting scored down a knockdown. Wrestling's different though. Takedowns and then
Mhm.
ground control time, how much scoring had involved in this fight is ridiculous. And Ngannou had way more control time, sure. But what was he doing? He wasn't doing anything on the ground. He was laying on Cyril Gane and won the fight because he laid on Cyril Gane. Even though I think Cyril Gane outstruck him on the feet and everything, I still think, yeah, Francis was great in the 3rd round and stuff like that. But man, for the last 3 rounds to go and Gane's way, not sure about that. I just don't like that scoring.
Okay.
Maybe I'm a bit biased because I like Cyril Gane a lot and I thought he'd be the
Mhm.
heavyweight GOAT, but he'll get another shot at the title. No,
For
no
sure.
doubt.
For
But
sure.
man, I just don't like that scoring. I don't.
Okay.
I
No,
don't know.
okay. To answer your question, well, first of all, the betting, if you bet on Ngannou to win by decision, was a plus 1,200,
Yeah.
which is actually
Insane.
really insane. But yeah, to answer your question about the scoring, okay, so with the scoring, it's weird because in the UFC, it's mixed martial arts, so anything goes. Well, obviously there's illegal things you can do,
Yeah.
but anything goes. So the scoring per round is whichever like there's not like a decisive like, oh, if you knock him down that you -1, and there's no like if you take a takedown that's a minus. It's mostly it's by eye, right? It's like, oh, I think you did more, you dominated more. It's about dominance. So since it's mixed martial arts, there's gonna be a lot of grappling, wrestling,
Yeah, I
right?
get that. He dominated on the ground. He didn't really dominate though. He didn't throw a punch on the ground.
But
That's
the
what I hate
fact that but the fact that Cyril Gane couldn't stop him shows
True.
that there's a dominance there. And Ngannou had to go through that against Miocic. He had to realize that too, because Miocic, that's how Miocic beat him. He just out wrestled him. So you have to be every
Exactly, yeah.
great fighter has to go through that where you'll get taken down. It's not pretty. It's definitely not pretty. Fans might not like it, but you can win like that. It happens way more often than you think. Like especially in a heavyweight, you have to be able to wrestle. You cannot be a heavyweight champion without being able to wrestle. And Ngannou even said that before. He's like, Ngannou, he hasn't fought a wrestler. So the thing is, Ngannou was even saying like, let him go through Curtis Blades, because Curtis Blades is that one guy that if you can beat him, you're ready for a title shot. Yeah, you beat a wrestler, So it's one of those. And Gane, he's pretty young in the game. It's only his 11th UFC fight.
Yep.
It was his first time actually going through trouble on the ground, right? Because no one's ever actually tried to take him down. But hey, Ngannou fought a great fight. He put like this guy risked everything. I watched so many of his interviews. This guy's gone through so much in life, and then he gets to this point, and the UFC wants him to lose, right?
Yeah.
They want him to lose because
Dana White doesn't wrap the belt around his waist.
Doesn't wrap the
bad look.
Doesn't even go to the press conference or the post conference. Yeah. So just shows that obviously there's a contract dispute. And the dispute is weird because, okay, on one side, it's like he only got paid $600K for this fight, which isn't a lot, especially for the heavyweight champion, and they don't want to pay him more. Francis Ngannou said, okay, either give me freedom or pay me more. And because when you're under the UFC, like he's not allowed to go box.
Yeah,
and he even said that he lost $7 million in like offers for fights, that's a lot of money you're getting. But at the end of the day, it's not really about money, but if you're an independent contractor, it's either give me freedom or give me money. It's got to be one of them. And you're not giving me any freedom, and you're not giving me that much money. So it's like, it's a little tough.
And we got to know that in a UFC contract for a UFC champ, if he defends his title, then he has to, if he defends it, he has to defend it again or something like that. No,
it's something that, or
maybe he's done because he did defend his title.
Yeah.
No, because that was his last fight, wasn't this? Was the last fight on his contract? Or how many?
No, I don't remember what it was, but it was something like Ngannou didn't have to fight this fight. He could have
Okay.
just waited out a year.
Because I'm pretty sure if it's your last fight, right, and you defend the belt, you have to fight again to defend.
Okay.
Like there's gonna be
Okay.
like if it's the last fight on your contract, you have one more fight on your contract, so you have to do this fight. I'm pretty sure if you defend your
Okay.
belt, you get an additional like fight in your contract to defend the belt.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know, but
Well,
like yeah, Tyson Fury wants to fight him for $30 million or something like that. That's how much he got
well,
paid in his Deontay Wilder.
yeah, yeah, he got paid more. He was like 40 million. Like Ngannou's looking at that. He's like, whoa, like he's getting paid that much. I mean, 600K. Like, come on, that's not is realistically for a fighter.
No,
This guy fought without an MCL, ACL, like tear and everything,
that's
and
true.
he had to risk everything. Don't forget, this guy literally had to go across from Cameroon, go to France, like literally like some crazy shit. Like we went to France, like was homeless. Like this guy's gone through so much, and his evolution in his game and everything is really nice to watch. But on the other hand, you have to look at Cyril Gane. He's a really good fighter, man. He's got everything that he's very technical.
Yeah.
Obviously, he has to improve his grappling, but you have to have some obstacle a bit. Like everyone goes through that. Like you have to realize that that was people never saw that weakness because no one ever attacked that weakness. So Ngannou actually attacked that weakness. But as you said, the last 3 rounds, I'll give it to Ngannou 100%. I think he won the last 3 rounds pretty safely. Maybe the last round, man. We talked about this before the show, but that leg lock, a lot of
That's
people
what I'm
have
saying.
talked.
In the corner, Gane. No wonder Francis Ngannou left his coach because you overhear. They let you overhear what they're saying. The coaches they're saying we're losing this fight. We're losing. We're losing this fight. Going into that 5th round, he was not
tied.
losing that round.
Yeah.
He was not losing that fight.
Yeah.
If he held that top control on Ngannou, he would have won that fight. What's he do?
Yeah.
He goes for a leg lock. No wonder Ngannou left that coaching staff. That commentary of his coaching to Gane and getting in his head and saying that stuff screwed him this fight. If he stayed on top, no doubt in my mind he wins that fight. Goes for a random leg lock, gives up top position, and then he loses the fight because of that. Bad coaching. Bad coaching.
Yeah. It's because the judges had it. Even if he won that, he would have won a split decision. He would have won that split decision.
That's bad coaching.
No, it's definitely Ferran Torres. He's not a bad coach, but that's why Ngannou left. It was really like Ngannou sometimes wouldn't listen, so that was a problem. But like, I wouldn't listen to that if you told me. You know what I mean? Like, I think because realistically, the first 2 rounds were really close.
Yeah,
but definitely a bit in favor of Gane. That's why I don't mind that one judge giving that first round to Ngannou.
49-46 I found ridiculous, but
it wasn't that bad. But that last round, man, it was so weird because when I was watching the fight, he had him in that leg lock, and then I was like, and then you look at Ngannou's face, the guy has no reaction.
So nothing's working.
Even Ngannou said after the fight, he was like, because that was it was his good leg too, so it wasn't even his bad leg.
Yeah.
So he was doing a leg lock, and Ngannou was like, okay, tire yourself out, like it's not doing anything. Because you don't have my hips locked in yet, so you're not doing anything, and then you're tiring yourself out. And I just got good positioning, so do whatever you want. And then, but on the other hand, Gane, he thought he was this close to having it, which is really weird to see both sides. Because when you're watching the fight, you're like, look at the size of Ngannou's like, you're not doing that much damage. It didn't look like he was doing much, you know. The leg lock, it looked very like the technique. It just didn't look like he was hurting, you know. I don't know if Ngannou played it off well, but like it just didn't seem like that, you know. Like
okay, quickly, the next fight, Ngannou's next opponent, Cyril's next opponent. Who should it be?
Okay, so I think Ngannou, he's probably gonna fight like in a year, right? He's probably not gonna fight again this year. I think he should fight the winner of someone and someone, and I think Gane should fight either Miocic or John Jones, and then winner of that gets to fight Ngannou.
Okay. So I think Miocic and John Jones should go at it.
Okay,
it's a good stepping stone for John Jones as well.
Exactly, but it's a good any combination of them 3 would be perfect. It would be fine. I'd be fine with John Jones. I'm not sure if he even wants to come back, but the most realistic one, because I don't know if John Jones is really gonna like. This guy's been talking like he's just been on Twitter, right? He hasn't really said he hasn't really like fought much. So I think realistically, Miocic and Gane, that would be a really good fight. Winner of that, I think should get if Gane can beat Miocic, that shows my wrestling is back. I can because he was really close to winning that. So if John Jones actually wants to fight, then he should fight Miocic and then winner of that should get it, and then Gon, because you don't want Gon fighting Derek Lewis, but Derek Lewis, if he beats Tai Tuivasa,
he's back
which is
in
just
it, fuck.
which is just for pure entertainment, but like he'll be
back
back
in
at the top. If he fights like John Jones versus Derek Lewis, could probably do John Jones versus, like, but Derek Lewis, hey, don't count out Derek Lewis, man. Like he's been Francis before too.
Yeah.
So
I just think those guys have evolved, and he's stayed Derek Lewis.
That's fair. But Derek Lewis even said he's not there for like to win. He's just there for entertainment. He's just there to knock out people. So that's why everyone loves Derek.
Well, we will have to find out in the future, months down the line, what the heavyweight division is going to look like. But thank you for listening to the Chtib Zhang Show on Spotify or watching it here with us on YouTube. Much appreciated. And we'll see you guys in next week's episode. Roll the outro.